Welcome to West Country Wanderings and welcome to another one in my Cotswold Walk series. Today I'm heading on the train to the Oxfordshire town of Charlbury, which sits on the Cotswold line between Worcester and Oxford. We're going to do a circular walk uncovering the secrets of Cornbury Park, looking for a lake and see what we can see of the remains of a Roman temple. So why not join me here again on West Country Wanderings for another Cotswold walk. So I'm now at Gloucester. Just tell you a little bit about my route today. So I've come out from Gloucestershire, changing at Gloucestershire and Worcestershire Parkway. So I'm making my way up to Worcestershire Parkway. We've been there before. I probably won't film there. I've only got a couple of minutes to change there, or a few minutes anyway. I'm jumping on the train, cross-country train, which is heading up to Nottingham from here. I think it starts in Cardiff. Just coming up South Wales line here behind me. That was a Cardiff train going off down in that direction, and then we're on the Cotswold line, so it'll be stopping at places like Pershore, Evesham, Moreton and Marsh, of course, which we've done previously on the Cotswolds walks, and then we're getting off at the delightful, well, hopefully it's delightful according to my research that I've done, Oxfordshire town of Charlbury. So why not join me for this walk here. It's going to be a complete circular walk today, and I'll insert some maps when we get there too. So here we are at Charlbury, delightful Brunel designed and built station here on the Cotswold line. There's a Cotswold line promotion group and a poster telling about all the different walks that you can go on in this hidden gem here in the Cotswolds. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to walk into the town, get myself something to eat and drink, set myself up there, and then we'll start the walk. I'll find somewhere quiet and tell you about the route that we're going to be taking today, because it's really interesting. I hope you enjoy it. See you in a bit. Currently standing on Dyer's Hill Bridge over the River Evenloe. The Evenloe, of course, we've come across on our Cotswold walks. Sorry, it's quite windy here. It's blowing across the river valley here, the Evenloe, and the town lies behind me. So we're going to make our way there. So we'll be crossing over the bridge here, making our way into the town. I'm probably, sorry, drifting off here. I'm trying to make sure the tripod doesn't fall over. Oh, my hat blew off into the river. Well, see, it's really windy. I'm on the side of a road as well, so I have to be quite careful. So I apologise, the photography is not its best. Heading into the town, and then we'll make our way back across the river again into Cornbury Park, and I'll tell you about that when we get there. I'm on the town green, and behind me there you can see a Victorian water fountain. It's not actually in use anymore, but I just include some photographs of that now. It's really beautiful. What I intend to do is to do the walk first. Doing the walk, the actual work. It's actually about 9.5 kilometres. Put back up the OS map now where we're going. It starts off down in that direction, the other end of this town green, a beautiful spot. I've had some lunch, some drink. Set off now, and I say I'll do a tour of the town towards the end of the video. I forgot to mention this town is in Oxfordshire. We're actually in the west part of Oxfordshire. This is about as east as I go on my channel, and we are probably about 6 or 7 miles from the next nearest town would be Witney. I hope you're all well. I'm certainly feeling energetic for this walk today. It's surprisingly breezy today. It's not a Well, it has been lightly cloudy. In fact, it was threatening rain when I left home today, and now it's brightened up lovely. But that wind can be a little bit keen in places, so apologies for the if there's any issues with the sound with that. Just going to be heading out of the town out of Charlbury, and as I say, it's a delightful place, and I hope to cover it in more detail. I did spot when I was walking over to the shop to get something to drink in the town green there. One house had the old glove works outside it, so it looks like they used to make gloves here in the town. I don't know that much about the town. I've never been to Charlbury before. I'm more familiar with the Gloucestershire and the Worcestershire part of the Cotswolds, and I don't know so much about this eastern part of the Cotswolds area, if you like. So I thought we'd do a trip here, but this seems to be a bit of a undiscovered gem, this part of Oxfordshire here in the Cotswolds. So yeah, we've now left the town, making our way through this wooded glade, and Charlbury actually lies next to the ancient Wychwood Forest. And there are a few villages like Ascot under Wychwood, which also has a railway station. I don't think the trains stop there that often. That's perhaps somewhere we can look at doing a circular walk in the future here on West Country Wanderings. Now behind me here over this gate, which is private property so I can't enter it, it looks like they're doing a rewilding project. I can make out, looks like some cornflowers, lots of poppies and some new fruit trees in there. I'll just see if I can get a shot of that there for you. Oh, nice blue sky. Now I'm just about to say goodbye to the Oxfordshire Way. The Oxfordshire Way continues right down that way. I think it goes to a village called Stonehall, can't remember. I'll put it in below. So it's heading into another Cotswold village down in that direction. But we want to go to the hamlet of Falla to complete our circular route around the town of Charlbury today. So we need to go down, no, not down there, not into that field there. So we're actually going to go down this way here. And it's just marked as a, yes, down there behind me, down that route down there, which is a public bridle way. See you in a bit. Apologise for the wind noise. It's really quite gusty in places. That down there in that dip, you can just see that there. I'm trying to look at the screen as well. Yeah, down in the dip is the Evenlode Valley. So we're quite high up on here. We're right on the high Cotswolds. Really got its name here, the Wolds, because you've really got centre high up here. And we're going to nip down to the Evenlode because that's where the hamlet of Falla is, and we'll be crossing over both the river and the Cotswold railway line, which lies in the dip of that. And as I think I've said before, when we did the first Evenlode Valley circular walk here on West Country Wandering, that's the one where I fell over. It's a few months ago now when the weather was quite wet. I think it was Kingham, wasn't it, and Bleddington, and we were near Dalesford farm there as well. And yeah, I said then that this the old Worse and Worse, wasn't it? It's the Oxford, Worcester and Wolverhampton Railway, and it follows the River Evenlode for much of its length. But yeah, beautiful here, though it's windy, and I do apologise for sound being blah, blah, blah. I'll try and edit as best I can in post-production. But beautiful day here, really enjoying my walk here around the town of Charlbury in West Oxfordshire. Now, thinking of railways, and I wasn't particularly, but I was thinking of Oxfordshire actually. That's how I got to that. And I wanted to ask you, my viewers, a question, because I know a lot of you subscribe to me for the railway content. I know some of you subscribe for the canal content, some for the walks, and I try to make it up with bits of history and other photography bits and pieces as well. But I wanted to ask a question, and you can reply in the comments. It'd be really interesting. I used to work in a town called Bicester. Now, Bicester is in Oxfordshire. It lies some 10 miles to the east of the city of Oxford. It's a military town and has been for, well, quite some considerable time. Now, one of the interesting things about Bicester, and this is the reason I asked, because it lies outside my West Country Wanderings area, really, because it's kind of the other side of Oxford, so it's quite east. But I just wanted to know if you'd be interested in me doing a video, even though it's a bit out my area, on the military railway at Bicester. I don't know how much of it you can actually see. I know there are many level crossings. I think one of the hamlets or villages is called Ambrosden. I can't remember the others. So there's lots of level crossings dotted around where you can get viewpoints of it. And if you don't know about the Bicester Military Railway, there is a little bit of information online, not a great deal, obviously, because official secrets act and all that, but I just wondered what we could see, similar to the one I did at Long Marston not long ago in the county of Warwickshire on the former Cheltenham to Stratford line. But yeah, I know your thoughts of that. Please drop a line below, because was thinking maybe doing that, but I said I know it's outside my area, but if that's something you'd be interested in, please drop a comment. So I'm now in Falla, and behind me here is the site of Falla's Roman villa. Got the Cotswold line just there and the river just over there as well. I'll insert a clip of the map as well. Sad to report that there is no interpretive board here. In fact, the only reason I know that this was the Roman villa is just by the GPS on my OS map, and that cross marked, as you can see now, on the OS map as well. But yeah, this is the site of the Roman villa in Falla. I would imagine that they built here because it was probably a crossing point across the river, Evenlode. I don't know what strategic places they had in this area. Obviously I know about Corinium, which is over in Cirencester, and I'm not sure if there was a Roman road, because it looks like quite a steep straight embankment on like a minor road over there, so that perhaps that was a Roman road where the troops came across and then forded across the river here. That's pure speculation. If I can find out some more information when I edit the video, I'll drop that in the usual way below. Well, that was rather exciting. I was just filming myself walking across the bridge. I'll give my secrets away now. I've come back to retrieve the camera. But as I was walking across the bridge here, a heron came up from the river Evenlode, and I think it was, I'll have to check the footage. I can't remember the one over the bridge or underneath it, but I think I've captured some of that on there. I was really within probably about a metre of the heron. It was right down in the reed beds down there. This is a beautiful spot. There is the bridge, of course, the Cotswold line going over the Evenlode here, very close to that. This is the pedestrian footbridge, been replaced not long ago. And here behind me we have the Evenlode marshes. Wonderful spot for nature and wildlife here in West Oxfordshire. So we're now halfway on our journey. So we're heading back to Charlbury now, when we'll be skirting around the edges of Cornbury Park. Just to tell you a little bit about that, they've actually got a music festival coming up. I thought it had actually been moved. There's 2 music festivals in the area. I can't remember the person that lives in Cornbury Park, or the house should I say, the mansion that sits in the heart of the deer park here in West Oxfordshire. Drop that in below. But I believe it's around the 7th of July, so probably in about 10 days as I film this. Which is, they've got Brian Adams there, Ronan Keating, loads of big names. I can't remember them all. There was a big poster at Charlbury railway station. And I think a couple of weeks after that, there is another music festival in the area, actually in on the Oxfordshire-Gloucestershire border, near to the Kingham railway station, which is like the next one up the Cotswold line. and that is in the grounds of Alex James, who used to be the bass player, and possibly still is, I'll have to check that, with the group Blur from the 1990s. I'm just going through this stunning cornflower meadow here. It's a hive for butterflies. I've just seen a marble white, I think it was a marsh fritillary, and peacock as well. Beautiful. I'm hopeless. I'm sorry. Although I think I'm okay-ish at photography. I'm useless at trying to capture butterflies on camera. I'd be all day trying to get one shot, and I wouldn't be able to film or photograph anything else the whole day. But just have to take it as read there. This is full of butterflies here in this meadow. I say the Evenlode is just to my right, that beautiful river there, that little babbling brook bit effect kind of as we went through that little copse there after crossing the bridge over the Evenlode. And I think Cornbury Park lies ahead of us. There should be a large lake. We may be able to get a shot of the house as well. I can't promise, but we'll see how we go. But this is a fantastic part of the walk. I mean, I have been enjoying the whole of the walk, but this is just fantastic. And there's no one here. I've got the entire place myself. I am midweek. It's a Tuesday afternoon, late June, summer of 2022, and all's good. The weather is fine. Still a bit quite breezy in gusts, but it's quite warm now, and sun's coming out, so yeah, it's terrific. Beautiful cornfield here. Just to bear a note, if you're using the OS map, it seems to be slightly off at this point, because it says that my footpath should be over there in the middle of the cornfield where there isn't a track through the cornfield. I'm not sure whether maybe it's my GPS alignment, I'm not entirely sure, but it does seem to be slightly out with the marking. It also might be that the footpath has changed its course since it was last mapped, and that is a possibility too. But yeah, just be careful of that. So you need just to follow. You're okay walking through the track that's marked through the cornfield here, making our way back to the Cotswold town of Charlbury. But spectacular sight. So we gained height again. So Eveno Valley, where we were before with that bridge and the heron and all that stuff, it's down there to my right. Your left. The village of Finstock. I'll come back to that in a second. Finstock is over here. Falla, the hamlet, is down there. There's also Finstock railway station, which is kind of over there, I believe. Again, it's one of the stations on the Cotswold line that doesn't have many stopping trains. It's more of a halt, but it can be useful if you're doing walks in this area. Wow, that's what I mean about the wind. You think, oh, it's gone down, and all of a sudden it nearly keels you over. So sorry about the wobbly camera work here, but yeah, we're going to make it this way, and I'll tell you more about Finstock in a bit. Oh, a couple of things have happened there. I've crossed over the main Charlbury Finstock road, and we've now entered Cornbury Park. Oh, just seen some, looks like orchids over here. Just stop and have a look at that. So beautiful. The wildflowers around here, it's obviously real wilding and no fertilisers, which is great. Look at this. Yeah, that's fabulous. So yeah, this is a private road. There's lots of light industrial units. So obviously whoever manages and runs the Cornbury Park estate, they've invested in this to run the businesses. Lots of things. I think it's like financial planning. There's a fisheries thing, leisure thing, offices and all that type of thing. but all kind of tastefully done to bring in revenue to keep the estate going. So that sounds, you know, a good idea to me. But yeah, Finstock, it's the name that I just wanted to mention about. It comes from the Old English word, the Fin part, and I think it stands for fine or fina, which is an Old English word for, and you'd be surprised, I was certainly surprised when I saw this when I was researching for today's walk. It means woodpecker, and the stock bit means clearing, so it's woodpecker in the clearing. Just that one word, Finstock, means woodpecker in the clearing. Amazing. There is an alternative name to it as well. Can't remember what that is. Brain's gone dead with all the walking, but I'll drop that in below if I can find that as well. So yeah, we're on the Cornbury Park estate now. We're going to follow this private road for a little while, but it's very, very quiet. I haven't seen another vehicle yet, and we'll see if we can check out those lakes before we head back to the town of Charlbury. So we have Cornbury Park's famous lake there, which is used for fly fishing even. And obviously you have to have special permits to come into this place, apart from just walking across this road, because it's a right of way, but you can't come here via a vehicle. You can only do it via walking, which is one of the benefits of doing walks around the Cotswolds by the train, where you can, because you don't have to worry about the parking or anything like that. It's also another benefit of doing circular walks, but I'll just give you one last shot of the lake before we head on back to Charlbury. Ah, beautiful. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this walk, not least of which because of the variety of what we've seen. We had that cornflowers, didn't we? We had the blue cornflowers, and we've had the water meadows by the banks of the River Evenlode. We had the other crops there where we've seen all those butterflies in the cornfield as well, of course, and now we've got the lake where you can go fishing. Footpath gates just here on the right. Now this is what I mean by variety. So we had the fishing lake down there. I think there's a couple of lakes that are in like a series, and it takes you all the way up to Cornbury House, and I'll drop some stats in about the house as I'm walking along here. But this bit here takes us into the deer park, hence the high electric fences and everything. I'll just show you. Yes, the good old Cotswold Voluntary Wardens. Where would I be without my walks in the Cotswold, without them, keeping everything up to date? I think I mentioned before when I was doing the Severn Way, the comparison between the condition of the Severn Way and the condition of the walks around the Cotswolds, because we had these wonderful ladies and gentlemen who do the conservation work on the stiles and the gates and everything, and the paths as well. It's always well maintained. This route here is also the National Cycle Network number 442, which does surprise me because it doesn't seem to be obvious terrain. Sorry, I got flies around me. Terrain for cycles, but it's wonderful though. Wonderful, but it seems really uneven with quite bumpy routes. So if you're coming along here thinking of cycling on the walk I've done today, you're going to need a good mountain bike with good suspension, I would say. So I'm crossing over the River Evenlode again on this grand bridge. The main entrance to Cornbury Park estate is just behind me. Just managed to get a clip of that, although the house itself is just a little bit out of sight because there is like a ridge, and you're not allowed beyond those two, by the gate there could be committing out to trespass. That again, there is the River Evenlode, and I say it's a delightful stone bridge. I did a clip of it from the other side so you can see what it looks like if you're approaching it from the river, if it was navigable. Obviously the Evenlode isn't navigable, but yeah, so we're making our way across this way, and we'll soon be back in the town of Charlbury. But yeah, I've been really enjoying this. Sorry, might have gone out of focus there. Really enjoying this walk here around the town of Charlbury, following the River Evenlode and this delightful Cotswold countryside here. Absolutely magnificent. Just a railway note here is that the railway track here doubles after this point, heading down that way to Oxford till it gets to, can't remember the name of the junction. They've got the main line going up to Birmingham from Oxford, it joins that line, forgot the name of the junction. I should know, I used to watch Inspector Morse, there was a book named after it, but no, it's gone out of my head. So yeah, it's doubled here. It was single, it was originally built as double track, of course. It was singled like British Rail did in the late 1960s, I think. And I think in the past, just a few years ago, it's now double track again, because I have seen some shots of Charlbury station with just the one platform, but now it's thankfully back to 2 again, and it's quite a busy line. There you can see the line speed's 100 mile an hour heading down to that way. It's quite a frequent, I think there's a train every hour in each direction. That way, going that way, it's in the direction of Worcester, Malverns, Hereford, that way, Oxford and London. So I'm just heading back into Charlbury now. That's the church, I believe it's the Church of St Mary's. So I'm going to head over there and then show you around the church. And then my plan is to do a walk, a video tour around the town, and then close the video off, and then finally finish with some photographs of the town here in the Cotswolds. So we're now walking along Park Street. Just gone past the Charlbury preschool school, so I didn't want to film around there because I think the children are coming out. That's St Dumas House just on the left. Just that house there, very striking house there. So we're just coming up to the church now. It's a beautiful town, as you can see, and so we're going to cover it in more detail. Yes, I'm surprised I've never been here before. It must be a bit of a Cotswold hidden gem, this one. It's not at all touristy, which surprises me because we're only an hour and 125 minutes from London Paddington here. But yeah, there's the main street just over there. Well, we're making our way around this way though. And Parish Church of St Mary the Virgin. I think I'll see if I can grab a seat. Ah yes, there's a seat just on the left. I'm going to sit down and chill out for a bit. Though the church here in Charlbury is dedicated to St Mary the Virgin, it is also dedicated to Saint Dauma, who was the first bishop of the region of Mercia back in the 7th century. In 1197, this church was actually linked to Eynsham Abbey. Eynsham is a small town or village just a few miles from here, and perhaps that's somewhere we'll look in a future episode here on West Country Wanderings. Now, the arcade between the nave and the chancel dates from Norman times, but in the 13th century this church here was greatly enlarged. So we'll go and have a look and see what remains of that today. It has actually been kind of modernised in the 21st century to improve it and to suit its functionality for the present day congregation here, but they have preserved elements of it too. Now going to have a tour around the inside of the church here, so I hope you can carry on enjoying the tour here, wandering around the delightful town of Charlbury in West Oxfordshire. hope you enjoyed that little church tour inside the St Mary the Virgin Church here in Charlbury. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a video tour of this wonderful town. Do a little bit of commentary while I'm doing that as well, as much as I can, and hope you enjoy it. Well, that's it for West Country Wanderings for today. I hope you enjoyed Cotswold Walk number 8, Charlbury Circular, following the River Evenlode. Caught the train here today, and just to let you know, I'm going back on a different route. I'm not sure why that's the case, but I came up Worcestershire Parkway and down the Cotswold line. I'm actually going to complete the circuit, so I'm going to head now down to the city of Oxford, perhaps somewhere that we'll visit in a future episode of West Country Wanderings, who knows, and then I'm going to go back along and up Swindon, back up into Gloucestershire that way. I hope you can join me again on another wandering here on West Country Wanderings. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll just close the video now with some photographs I took around this town here today. All the best for now. Cheers. Goodbye.